Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Well, welcome to round 2 of the Atlanta Motor Speedway Australian NASCAR Truck Series. Sorry, Atlanta Motor Speedway. Bit of a start in the first gear there, bit of a false start there. But yeah, tonight we're at Old Hotlanta. This is a legacy track now, which was voted for in the Discord. And joining with me tonight is Matt Danson, and we've got producer Dean on the cameras again, doing a lovely job there. How are we feeling tonight, Danson?
Yeah, amazing. Thank you, Dave. I left you hanging there doing the intro, but we can take turns on that one perhaps. But yeah, no, super excited to get stuck into another week with the Truck Series. Obviously went off with a bang in round 1. Probably a track, here this week that a lot of the drivers should be familiar with, but perhaps not in more recent times. Obviously, having switched across to the controversial reconfiguration of Atlanta, so it will be interesting tonight to see how that translates to some of these boys. Whether the memory bank sort of is filled up there with what to do to get around this place fast, or whether it's a bit of a shake-up. So we'll see how that goes. But probably the first thing to get stuck into would be let's see how we qualified and who's starting up front. Davo, run us through.
Oh, you got me with the high one, mate. We've got Dave Olenzak on the pole for Nitro, American driver in the series, and also teammate Zach Sears, also American driver in Nitro colours, and he's on the second position on the outside there. We've got Dean Power P3, P4, Stephen Williams, Jason Holsworth in 5th, and Andy Barber in 6th, Luke Payton in 7th, Aaron Dorman coming out at 8th, Tom Williams, Ryan Barber running at the top 10. And then we've also got Angus Lawford and Ruben Phelps on the 12th position.
I'll take it from here. So Brandon Griffiths 13th, Lachlan, not going to try his surname, 14th, Bradley Cairns, Riley Curtis, Josh Micklemore from Nitro, also in P17 there, a bit further down the order than you might expect. Brian Blundell, Cootie Dell, Tyler Williams, Carl, after a career night at Daytona, lines up P21 for Atlanta here. Trent Lavelle, Marty Mitchell, and Nigel, P24.
And then after that, we've got Steve Gerber out of the 25th position at 61. Timo Blundell, 26. Jamie Nate Curvis. Brenton Henderson, returning back to sim racing. Matty Payton's out there in the 58 machine in 29th. Aaron Major, Noddy Tompkins, Dave Lawler, Brad Wright, and Gary Wellman rounding out the field tonight. 34 starters.
Sensational. So yeah, it's going to be. Even just in the quality times, you can see a bit of a spread. I think perhaps a few at the back might have had some troubles. I can only imagine. So 2 seconds spread there between the last quality times, but for the most part, they're sort of most of the fielders within that 1 second range, and certainly the front guys only a tenth or two between them. So I think based on that, we could expect it. Atlanta usually does create a bit of field spread, so we could expect to see the field sort of start to spread out after a while. But this place is very important with tyre saving, managing everything there. So it's going to be a lot to play out. So we'll see how we go.
Absolutely different beast to Daytona, and as we're about to come towards the green flag, Davo's got the field that's on the starter on the first one, and we're green. So we're off and racing for round 2 in the trucks tonight, and we'll see how these guys settle in. As we said, it's going to be a little bit different to the original track, or a lot different. It's going to be looking after those tyres and just playing the way into the race here.
Exactly, and then Dave has jumped into a clear lead, but back from him we've got a bit of 2x2 action most of the way through from third on back. In fact, we see a bit of a battle starts to get down to one lane as it does at this track. There's a bit of contact.
Yeah, sorry, just a little touch in the rear bike. Looks like he got on his rear wheel. He got loose, which is easy to do. Looks like that is Dean Powell, so he's going to drop back a little bit, trying to find his space in the field. But they're still side by side there. It's not uncommon to get loose on these first couple of laps, cold tyres, and you put on a fair bit of load through those cars. So he's got it gathered up now, and he'll get back into his groove.
Great call. It's also the bumps. I guess it's not a billiard table smooth surface. There's quite a bit to it, so you got to get that line right, and obviously just sort of a bit of a mix up there through those boys, but they got it sorted out. Most of the field is starting to get into that single file as we spoke about, as we see a bit of close quarters there between Barber and Holdsworth. Back in the field, a bit of a wall rub back there around about the 15th spot. Sorting themselves out a little bit as Stephen Williams, I think that is, making a bit of a run on the outside for the lead. Side by side coming out of 4.
Yeah, certainly is, Matt.
Yeah, coming to the line. He actually, I think he's just nosed ahead. In fact, he has. And Dave O says, I don't want to get involved in that right now. And he lets Stephen Williams scoot out into the lead. And he's sort of running the middle lane, it looks like. He's not bothered by getting on that white line. It will be a faster initial run, but could pay the price later, perhaps with a bit of a tyre drama. So keep an eye on him.
Yep, so Steve-O's got the lead now, so Dave didn't fight him there. He's well aware of what he's doing. So Dave, you can see, as you said, dancing, he's running that middle line as Steve-O and Dave behind him, just on that white line there. So a lot of tyre saving will have to go into this race, so you don't want to overdrive the car right now. It'll be fast if you overdrive it, but it's only going to be fast for so long before it dies, and then you start finding yourself going back through the pack. As you can see, a couple of cars back there up on the wall. That's also another line that you can use here. I feel like the line will eventually get up to the wall, and that's where most of the guys will be running, but at these early stages on these new tyres, they'll be down the bottom.
That's it, and I'm looking at the, privy to some timing here, and we can see that Stephen Williams, in fact, does have the fastest lap of the race currently at a 30.7. They're already down into the 31.1s, and I can see that Dave in P2, Zach P3, a lot of these guys have been consistently running, happy to run in the 31.1s, and kind of, Stephen Williams is starting to fall back in that territory, even though he has pulled a bit of a lead now, sort of around about the half-second mark to P2. But he's, in fact, last time by, Stephen Williams did a 31.12 against P2. Dave did a 31.25. So still eking away is Mr. Williams, but it will be, for me, it's going to be super interesting to see if he can maintain that speed, or, is he going to pay the price later? Because it's great to be fast now, but, you want to have that longevity in the run usually.
Yeah, and that's the big thing we're going to see here is guys are going to do it differently, set up differently. You're going to see cars that are going to get loose through the run. They're going to get tighter through the run. So you'll see a couple of guys go right up on tight on that exit. It's pretty dire straights up there when you get a bit of a tight truck and trying to carry that speed through turn 2. It's very easy to get up and rubber that outside wall. So don't be surprised if we see a few guys get their Atlanta stripes down the outside of that car up there.
Exactly. It was Ryan Barber, I think it was, back in around about the 10th position that was having a bit of a dance with the wall, looked like. But in that sort of area, 10th to 15th is a bit of a battle pack at the moment. They've got a lot of 2x2 action happening there. So it's side by side, in fact, 4 10th as they enter turn 3 right now.
Ribbon. battling on the outside of Matty Payton here. And as you said, yeah, those guys are still side by side behind, three deep, I should say, racing for that back end of the top 10 here.
Oh, gee, as Ryan Barber just gets up a little bit, not on the screen at the moment, but just gets up a little bit into, I think that was Lockie, who was to his outside, just got very close for comfort there. But they're doing well. Good job to hold side by side. That's still maintaining 3 rows deep, like you were saying, Dave, 2 by 2. Doing a great job of getting amongst it here. They're not waiting, that's for sure. But it looks like, I've mentioned him a few times, I probably need to move on to a different favourite driver, but Ryan is dropping back a little bit now, so he's sort of had a bit of glory moment earlier, but in the last few laps he's lost already 3, going on 4 positions, so just getting kind of freight train on the outside, it seems. So hopefully he can make a bit of a fight back.
Yeah, Ryan's a new driver to the series here. He's actually the son of Andy Barber, I believe. So the young fellas out there having a go and having a crack, which is good to see him out there. But they're having a little bit of an issue with trading paints, but they're going to load up soon, I'm being told, and we should have our colours and liveries back on the cars. So it's a little bit hard to tell who's who out there at the moment, but stick with us. We'll do our best. That's what we do. Here we go. There's the 25. We see the trading paints out there, so they're coming on. So it won't be too long before we'll have all our paints out there.
Yeah, we've got the Magic Autobots will be flying out there with their special wrapping kits and getting them on as we speak. So there we go. There's a couple of nice paints. I know that I think that we're running on board with Tyler at the moment. He spends a lot of time in the paint booth. He's gained 4 positions so far, as you can see there. So he's up and about. He was quietly confident. I had a quick word with him a few days ago. He was quietly confident about his chances, not just here but for the season. So maybe a couple of hours less in the paint booth and more on the racetrack, and he might turn that 16th into a 10th. So we'll see how he goes. But still a side by side all the way through the field for anything from about 10th back, and battle for the lead. In fact, as we say that. Thank you very much, Dave. Have a look, and I think that's probably what we were saying earlier, Dave, where you can have a bit of a go early and get your tyres. But there we go. It got very close there, didn't they? In fact, but Dave takes back the lead. Steve just on the outside, still holding steady. He doesn't want to give up just yet. He said, "Don't worry, there's still some life in these tyres." He's proven me wrong.
Yeah, so you can see that the inside truck just gets a little bit tight through the exit there. So it's going to be interesting to see how this run goes on. As you can see, those 3 nitro trucks lined up on the bottom side there. You got Davo and Zach Sears with Holdsworth in behind, and we've got Steve-O waving the flag for DPR out front here, trying to hang on. But that's the line. I think it's going to move up the track, and you're going to start to see cars get loose here, or they're going to go the other way and they're going to get tight. I think I'd rather a loose car. You can sort of drive it a bit better than it's tight. You spend too much time off throttle, and you can see we're still battling out the front here. We're riding on board with Zach Sears at the moment, and we're just trying to see if we can't see how these cars are behaving. So the 311 looks all right. 98's right up there in the fence there. Risking it all to hold on to that spot, but we're still side by side up front.
The 98 was right out sideways there, mid corner in 3 and 4. So I do think those tyres, and this is sort of that range of the race where, or the run I should say, where the tyres do start to come in. So not surprised he's struggling a little bit, as he makes it. I mean, he's getting after it. So still keeping the side by side for the lead. They're making a show of it, that's for sure. And who's this coming up here? This is indeed, yeah, it is Ruben. The not the last series champion, but the series before that. So
X series Daytona winner.
Well, that's true. Thank you very much. Yes. So he does like to save his stuff. So he's sort of been a bit patient, coming back up through the field. Steve, he's still hanging tough. I got a question for you, Dave. We got there it is. As we said, they're going to get that stripe. They get loose or tight, and it gets very hairy on that exit. So he hung as long as he could, and unfortunately, it's starting to go away for him now. But he'll have to settle down and just deal with what he's got now. There's no going back, and
we'll see if he can just hold on to that position. Try hold position anyway. And
The old Darlington stripe. That's true. He's brought that to Atlanta. But I think the way this is looking at the moment for old Stephen Williams, I think he's probably only going to watch the first 10 minutes of this race and then switch off YouTube. Because as it stands, if this stays green for too much longer, he's going to be feeling a lot of pain. And I mean, well, as we say, that caution is out. the old dancing curse looks like it's in play. Getting reports of the 69. In fact, there he is. You can't park there, mate. I don't know what's he doing out in the grass. He is a farmer, so perhaps jeez, there he goes.
I
was going to say, oh no, he said, you know what, that's it for me tonight, boys. I was going to say he's a farmer, so perhaps he was having a bit of homesickness.
Very agricultural, mate.
Sent himself into the paddock.
There's that looseness, so he's got the right rear. And he's actually got Wellman.
Oh.
He's involved Wellman in his incident. So Wellman doing nothing but just driving up there, and Wellman's going to hold on to it. No, he's going to just nose her into the wall there. So that doesn't look too bad for Wellman. So you get that repaired, and there's a 69 doing a bit of farming sim down the bottom there.
Exactly. Unfortunately for Gary Wellman, and he's Gary Unwell man at the moment after that hit, but Nigel went for the old 8 tyres better than 4 method, but and that's a hard hit too. Yeah, it's as we know, it's day done because he's called tonight. But the field is coming in. We've got one solitary non-pitter at the moment, which I think is Holdsworth, but the rest of the field is peeling in. So probably a good call, I would have thought.
I think Peyton stayed out, and there was another one that stayed out as well. So interesting. I'm pretty sure they have 2 sets of tyres available. 3, including the ones they're on now. So maybe the guys are saving a set for the end. There's going to be a massive speed difference here. But I was about to mention going for green flag stop. So fuel, you're looking at about 45 laps. So we're about halfway through that run now. So those guys aren't going to be too far from coming in again. I probably would have, if they're going to save tyres, topped up that fuel. So it's going to be interesting to see their plan out front. They've got something in place because it's all 3 nitro cars out front. So we'll see what they come up with.
That is an interesting one, Dave, like you said, because they've freed themselves up in terms of the tyre strategy and saving a set for later. You're kind of hoping for the best in that regard, but they have at the same time really painted themselves into a box with the fuel because 20 odd laps. Down the road. Again, I don't have the exact number. I apologise, but in not too long, they're going to be needing to come in and grab fuel, and they'll obviously do tyres at the same time. So, that could. I mean, it'd be interesting. They could prove me wrong. I made every wrong decision last season when it came to this sort of strategy. So, see how it pans out for sure. I'm eagerly watching that. But Dave, I had a question for you before that caution. Probably in this caution, in the caution now is a good time to ask it. We had 2 cars up front of Dave O, and I think it was Zach was the other one. Cars with triple numbers. What's your take on the old triple number on a race car?
I've run a triple number once in the past, but honestly, mate, I've got no take on it. To be honest, I'm just going to be making gibberish up here if I have any sort of comment to make on it. I've never thought about it in my life.
It's
give us yours though, because I know you're busting to tell me what you're thinking.
You bet. Just
9 on 9.
If he could get 4 digits, he'd be chucking 4 on there for sure by the looks of things. But lights are out in the pace car, so I won't waffle too long. But it sits very uncomfortably with me. I think you've got to have either the single or the 2 on a NASCAR at least. But look, if that's what drives some people, that's fine. As we come, pace car peels off. We've got Jason Holdsworth coming to the green flag as Barney gets jeepers creepers. That's very loose. As we should have called that. In fact, the old tyres at Atlanta is an old school problem. And there's chaos. There is absolute carnage. The track is blocked entirely as they're still coming up. And oh my gosh, get on the brakes, fellas. There we go. We got another one going down the inside wall. Jeez.
That's not good.
No, they're still getting sideways actually right now, trying to get up to speed. But that's that is
Atlanta for you.
Atlanta for you. Yeah, 100%.
It'll be interesting to see who took tyres and didn't take tyres. Someone obviously didn't take tyres. You can see all the wheel spin there. These old tyres, they don't like it on the fat. And then Matty just gets squeezed up into the wall here. So does Angus gets squeezed up. Andy Barber's involved. Stephen Williams just misses it down the bottom there. And we still got him wrecking through 1 and 2. Just
Great call, Dave. This will be an interesting one. Oh wow, he's done well to avoid those ones. Let's see if he. Yep.
Oh, they'll be frothing that in the chat. They love it on board with LaBelle.
I reckon that's. Look at that. I had my eyes. Oh, that's unfortunate. Right at the end, I had my eyes on Micklemore there because a lot of experience on board that truck, and you see him just being real patient through here. Cutting his way through. Oh, ouch.
Yeah, it's a hook.
I think this started at P2. I think if we go one of those rear-facing onboards, perhaps from whoever's on the outside line.
58.
Yeah.
So that's the 58 of Matt Payton.
58 Matt Patton, yeah.
I think Riley, Curtis with Riley on board. He got loose, but they managed to save it.
And there was that red truck. The red truck just didn't quite give him there. So Matt's P2, and he is he's probably barely on the throttle here, but it's just you just cannot really get on it. So he actually didn't drop too far back. He's P7 after all's said and done. But have a look at this. So he gets on it. It's just that, after that initial launch, and then even the truck behind him is also struggling. He gives him absolutely no room for Matt Papp. He's probably a bit slidey-guidey there, and then it just that kind of checks up the field, and then that just is chaos behind.
That's the SRM car up there. I think that might have been Urquio or Quijo, either way, however you like to say it. He got caught up in the 42, I believe. You can see him on pit road there, the purple nose on the truck there. So a lot of victims in that one, a lot of innocent parties as well, but that's what happens in oval racing. It can turn into that sort of thing.
It is just that restart, with the old tyres. It'll, especially at a track like this, like we said, it'll catch you out, especially if you haven't done it for a while at this joint. It's a lot of the newer tracks, you got that billiard table kind of surface, but not here. So they've jumped on the gas, thinking, "You beauty, let's go for it," and it's not been a good result. But a couple of sub stories within there as far as drivers being taken out of contention. I can already see on my scoring here, looks like 24th on back is a lap down. So they're a lot of those would be sitting in the pits getting their damage repaired. There's quite a few still rolling around fairway off the field, so they're probably just catching up, having got their damage repaired. So probably a lot of wounded soldiers running around, but look, we've still got a few at the front that didn't take tyres. So see how they go. Riley Curtis in P2, that's the Daytona winner, and Jason Holdsworth P1. Both of those did not pit, but P3 on back looks like they did. So as we come into the restart zone, Jason Holdsworth grabs the green, and we are away. So far, so good. Holdsworth gets much cleaner. Holdsworth gets a clear lead into turn 1. Dave O gets clearly through on Riley Curtis on the bottom, and look at those new tyres just glide straight past Holdsworth on the bottom. Expect to see those guys that didn't pit. You touched on it earlier, Dave. There's going to be a massive speed differential, so even that could be a potential cause for carnage. But Phelps, that is, moves up into P2 as well. So they're starting to, those fresher tyres are rising to the top. But again, similar story to the first run. You've got to be patient again now. You've reset your mind. You're not going fully off tap yet because you've got a long race ahead of you. And Phelps does get side by side now for the lead coming off turn 2, side by side, and there he goes. Dave-O again. He played a patient run in the first one. Looks like he's going to take a similar mindset here. Just bide his time. let the other boys go a little bit hard there. He doesn't need to lead all laps, but he just wants to lead the last one, I guess. But who's that moving into P3? Looks like Zachary Sears. So he's gotten around Jason, who actually is, and Riley. In fact, I'm quite sure that Riley has not taken tyres. They are proving to be a little bit stronger than I gave them credit for. So doing a good job on those older tyres.
Yeah, it makes it interesting. I think the field, I suppose, is at their, well, not going too hard. You don't want to go too hard. You've got those guys around you, so it can be a bit of a misdirection, I suppose, just to see what Ruben's up to. I know he looked like he shot out the front there and wanted to get to that point, and has done now, and looks like he's backed it right down, and the 311's just, he's right up behind him now. He's got one down the back straight. I reckon that's off the exit. Oh, this is not good.
Get off the, we want to get off the racetrack there. Done a good job to get that. Done a good job to get that sorted. Whoa.
Yeah, just maybe cold tires. Got loose on the exit there, and that's typically the way you go. So I'm very surprised not to see a caution with that car the way it is on that back straight. But he did well to jump straight on in reverse and get off the track. But then, the pack was bearing down on him there.
I think probably saved by the fact there was no one around him at the time. But as we're side by side on the backstretch here for P5, that looks like Josh Micklemore moving forward, and then big mover Bradley Cairns moving up into P6. That should be. He had a good run at Daytona from memory, Mr. Cairns. But I think maybe his result at the end didn't quite go to plan from memory, as we've got a side by side for the lead once again. Dave looking low on Ruben. They're giving each other nice space. One thing I've been noticing is the lap times. You kind of said about winding it right the way down, Dave. We noted that in those earlier runs, it was 31 1s, 31 2s. After a few laps, we're doing 31 3s at the moment. So I think what we're seeing unfold before us here is less a matter of anyone really going above and beyond trying to make a play for it. More about a bit of foxing. Who can save the most?
Yeah, for sure. You got 36 up there having a crack at the moment. He wants in on the action at the front. So that's Griffith, Brendan Griffith, I believe it is up there. So he wants in on it. We got Zachary. He's putting the nose in there as well. So it's a pretty tight battle up here for the lead at the moment.
As they get very close off turn 4. It's Project 36 and number 36. What do you reckon his favourite number is, Dave?
I'm going to go with 63.
Very good. That's
good.
So they've sort of themselves out at the front there. It's going to be because Ruben's last lap was a 31.4, so some of that could be temperature changes, track changes, different things come into play there. But I suspect it's a little bit of who can save the most, and trying to they saw sort of what happened in that first run. They're like, okay, let's call it. Let's see what we can get on the long run, as they are pretty singled out all the way through to about P6, and it's a second gap forming from 7th onwards, where you've got Holdsworth, Matt Patton, who we know did not pit, Tyler Williams and co. Whoa, jeepers creepers. Dave once again looking low for the lead. It's an interesting one looking at those guys barely making contact there. You think you're trying to take it easy, but then getting right up there and close and personal, it's maybe not conducive to saving.
Definitely, they got the top 6 guys here. They've just put a bit of a gap on these guys back here. The likes of Oliver Curtis, Jason Holdsworth, those guys on older tyres. So I'm predicting the fuel race, if it stays green, I'm thinking you're going to be down in the mid-70s at some point. But even less for those guys back there. So they're banking on a yellow here to be able to get them back in this race, because right now these guys are just tearing off at the front.
Bradley Cairns in the 7 there, just to the outside, just behind this group. P5 currently, but he's been the faster of this lot the last few laps, and you can see him ranging up on them now. Just want to be making sure if you're in his position there, it's one thing to gain, but you also want to be making sure you're still conserving your rubber, so that when you get there, you got something something to work with still, and I think he's doing that. So he's just kind of, again, they kind of straighten themselves out, and then as I say that, Brandon Griffiths has had a big dive for the lead as he gets very close to Ruben mid-corner. Side by side out of 4. Coming to the line. Who led that lap? It looks like Ruben had by ABs still led that one. So Brandon's making a play for it. He wants to lead. Still side by side. Ruben with the big run on the outside off of 2.
He's going to be enjoying his time up here. The real, I suppose, the winner is going to be coming from anyone that can look after their tyres here. So the longer it runs green, the person who can look after those tyres better is going to be your eventual winner, especially at a place like Hotlanta.
One to keep note of, Dave, you mentioned earlier about the fuel window. We're at lap 41 now. Those guys that did not pit on that yellow, let's keep an eye out for them jumping in the pit lane, because I think that's gonna be an interesting layer for this the onion that is this race. He's running right up at the top there, making that top lane. And you said that earlier, Dave, about you expected to go up top.
Yes, as the tyres wear on, I think that's where the track will end up, and it will be hard to pass on the inside, so you're going to have to try and squeeze by on the outside, get the runs, work the runs. As we've got the 36 trying to mount another effort down on the inside of Ruben Phelps here. He's got the 311, I believe that is, behind still, yep. So Davo's still just hanging in there, being a pest back there. He got the 36, he's trying to do what he can to get up there, but he's sideways. He saves it, he's going to pull back in, but I think he needs to try and work on the run and try and get on the outside of those 6 to make a move here. It's just too tight on that inside in these trucks.
He's getting after it. You'd love to say that they're not certainly not leaving anything on the table, but Ruben is hanging tough on the outside. He's had a few challenges come through. Dave, Griffiths, I think even Zachary might have had a go. So got a couple of lap, or at least a lap truck coming into play for the first time so far. It'll be interesting to see how they navigate that. It probably shouldn't be too much of an issue in this this type of environment. A lot of lanes to work with, so.
Yeah, definitely. Teammate, though, of the Project 36, so you never know. He may just, he's not going to go do anything silly, but he may just run a little bit of interference if he can on those guys at the front. But you can see Davo now trying to range up and get side by side with Ruben. He's managed to work his way clear of the 36, so he should slot back up in behind Ruben here, and he'll got to work on Ruben now.
I don't think Brandon is finished with either. I think he wants to have a bit more of a play. Certainly looks like he's still got some speed there. Really like what I'm seeing from the 311, getting right down on that white line, trying to repaint it or remove the paint, whichever way you're looking at it. But Zachary also having a bit of a look low, or you could say Brandon's having a look high. In fact, as they get very close coming out of turn 4.
Yeah, it looked like Ruben was trying to take the line away from the 311 there. So Ruben's been running mid-track through them, 3 and 4. He was down on the white line almost. So trying to just take the air away and feed that dirty air back to the 311 just to try and unsettle that car behind him.
Spot on as the 36 gets side by side for P2 right up behind the leader of Ruben Phelps in the 06. It's a hectic battle pack here in the top 5. Mostly the top 4 really under a blanket. But as Ruben just gets himself clear, Griffiths also clear in P3, but he still wants to have a nibble.
Yeah, look at that 31 back there. He looks racy. He looks like he's been... 311 was a bit sideways. And we've got the 31. He looks like he's racing there. And he looks like he's about to get into this battle. He's been biding his time, being patient. And we'll see if he can throw a spinner in the works with his boys at the front.
They are definitely getting after it. Oh, goodness me. 2x2 for the first 4 trucks is a delicious sight to see. And Mickelmore, as you said, Dave, as well, is just watching this unfold. Trying to put myself in the mindset of Mickelmore. I think I'm probably thinking, okay, you boys use up your stuff. I'm just going to bide my time here and pick up the pieces. But I almost feel like they're at the point now where and Ruben's right at the wall. He's taken your advice. I think he might have the stream up. He's happy just to let everyone have a bit of a look low. And I'm just going to run the top as they're side by side yet again for the lead.
Yeah, I feel it's going to be pretty hard to make that move. You're going to have to either dive in there, maybe do a bit of a slide job if you can get that run on him. As you can see, he just gets tight off the exit, and the top line's always going to have that run off the top of the track there. But we've got a couple of punters in the chat. Want an update on Trent Lavelle? Well, I can tell you he's running 24th a lap down at the moment.
Yeah, Lavelle was a victim of the pile up on the restart with the old tyres. He got, if memory serves, he got mostly through, but just copped a bit at the end. That was very unfortunate. If we grab another caution, I mean, hopefully with the way this racing is up front, that's the last thing we want. But we can have a bit more of a replay sesh during that, as we do a bit of a recap perhaps, as they are side by side once again and very close for comfort coming off turn 2 I should say, in fact. Brandon Griffiths, I think, may be feeling the effects of his big run earlier.
So there you go. That's Riley. We've got Riley heading down pit lane. I can see on the timing. So that's our first of our non-stoppers. So look to see if the 8 of Holsworth's not too far behind him. So whether that comes back to them later on, they're going to have much more speed now. We'll have to wait and see. They do have the extra set of tyres up their sleeve as it stands right now. They're about to jump onto that fresh set of tyres. So we'll see how that pans out for them.
One of the people active, one of our active viewers and commenters in the chat, in fact, previous season's champion, Brad Newman.
Oh, where are you, Brad? Get out of here, mate.
Yeah, one in controversial circumstances in the truck series, it has to be said, but we haven't seen him in round 1 or 2 yet. So hopefully we get to see a bit of his talent in the future races. I think right now
suit him this track too, so would have been good to see him out here. But hopefully he gets some time and find some time to join us and run some races with us. It'd be good to have him out here.
Oh, Bradley would have been right out sideways as well, that's for sure. But we are certainly seeing a delicious experience here as more pitting occurs. Just hearing the number 8 is coming in. So, like you called it, Dave, you know, they obviously got a couple of extra laps thanks to the yellow running at a slower speed, 2 yellows in a row. But in they come.
It's ranging up there on that left rear quarter of the 36 there, just trying to get some sort of momentum out of the turn and try and get side by side with him. But we got another race on for the lead here, I think, and actually the 311 led that lap, so it's getting much closer. He's going to be able to get clear off the turn 2 this time. No, he could have probably gone up there, would have been risky, but he's just going to wait and probably just driving him a little bit deeper into 3 here. And or as Ruben, he's the one driving in a bit deeper there, so he knows that he has to try and keep that side by side. And if the 311 can get up, he will clear him this time.
There you go. He's been working on that for a long time, just staying patient, biding his time. But he's got clear. Great call on that one, Dave. I think we've also still got, is that Micklemore, I think, looking low on Griffiths for 4th, as they saw.
Yeah, the 06 just got a little bit squealy off turn 2 there, Matt.
Oh, jeepers!
Back, just taking advantage of it and saw an easy opportunity to try and get past and didn't take any second chances and just went for it.
He knows the dimensions of his truck, don't you worry. He got that right in there with a cigarette paper between them. So nice move. We've had a few more come through the pits, so it's starting to get juicy. I'm not skilled enough, Dave, to be able to talk and do the math and work this out as it happens. But obviously we're currently sitting on lap 56. You know, I think these guys started coming in around about lap 50. I think Riley was the first one. So, I mean, that's an interesting. If these guys stretch it, when do they pit? Lap 17, I believe it was.
Lap, I believe, it's going to be about 81. If you can get home from 81, but the guys that stopped in that caution will only get to about 74, 75, I believe. So, it's going to be still another stop. They've got to stop both. All cars are going to stop after the lap 80 or 70 when these guys come in. So the guys at the front, like Dave 0311, I feel like they're going to come down pit road about that 80 mark, 82.
A bit of sideways action there from Griffiths. Yeah, that's That's an interesting one. It's gonna be interesting, I guess, as well. And I keep using that word, but I mean that's the truth of the matter. When these guys do pit, because the lap time situation obviously is massively a massive discrepancy between the cars who have pit, who are doing, mid 30s into low 31s, versus your people who have been out there for this whole run so far that are doing 32s, low to mid 32s. So like 32.26 for Dave last time by, versus Holdsworth's last lap was a 30.7, 2 times in a row. In fact, he's just crossed the line and hit a 30.7 once more. So he's going to have a massive lead. You would expect that Holdsworth, Curtis, these other guys that have pit should be, depending upon how long this goes for, half a lap or more in front. So what's that going to look like? Because obviously those guys that then pit are going to be massively faster themselves. So if you're Holdsworth and the like, when do you then take that next pit stop? So it's
another spanner in your works, mate. Limited tyre sets. If you go ahead and take these tyres, so the 311's already taking a set of tyres. He comes in again. I believe that would be his
one more
final set gone. So if there's the late caution, the guys that, like Jason on screen, Riley, Curtis, the guys that did stay out in that first caution are going to have the trump card.
Goodness me, you're not wrong. Yeah, 2 sets in the pits. That's not much to play with when it comes to margin for error as far as the decisions you make. So a few more having pit stops and peeling off pit road, but my eyes are very much keenly watching the lap times. 32.3 for Dave-O last time by, 30.7 once again for Holdsworth. It's he looks to be the first, I think, of the trucks that did pit so far. Where is old mate Riley, our Daytona winner? He's down in P24.
So he might have some issues.
I think he's had some issues. Yeah, he's 2 laps down. He might.
That is very difficult to get the cars down at this track.
Yeah,
as you can see down there,
we have one sideways down the grass. Exactly.
We just happened to mention it as we were talking, but I reckon Riley's probably sped in the pit lane, maybe had a holding penalty. That has to be the only thing that probably could have gone wrong. But yeah, very hard to get down to that speed limit. And because you've got to stay on the banking as long as you can. If you stay green here as a 651 gets himself going again. But you can see that banking as you come down onto the flat, very hard to get it pulled up. As you can see him rolling it on the back straight into turn 3, and even there, it's still no grip down there.
No, I think Marty might have got done by the old versus new Atlanta situation. With the new track, you are required to pit from the backstretch. There's a painted white line. You stay below. You follow that all through 3 and 4. Not this one. This is old school. You come off turn 4, and you jam on the brakes. You usually probably right out sideways and trying to bring it to pit speed at the line. So I think Marty maybe either he's had a mechanical failure of some kind, or he's just got a little bit mixed up between the 2 different pit entries. So yeah, regardless, he's down on that dirty stuff, and as you touched on earlier, Dave got a bit agricultural. So hopefully he can get himself sorted and back up in the running. Those flames should make him faster, I would imagine. So expect to see him back up soon.
So we can see Jason now. He's working up towards these leaders at the front. As you can see him just pop into the screen from the left side. While you've got the new tyres, it can lure you into a self-sense of security. You think, I've got all the grip in the world, I can go fast. You still have to manage those tyres as you go through that run. Otherwise, you will burn them up, and it's going to cost you. You've got to be disciplined. Spot on, Dave.
You got to massage it. You don't want to use it all up because, like I said earlier, there's when these guys pit, the other guys, it's going to be on the flip side. So you don't want to be out there on an island with your tyres completely destroyed. You've used up the good, and then now you have a bit of a struggle. So we got more takers in the pit lane there. We see a couple more peeling off out of shot. But last time by, said I've been watching these lap times. I'm not going to stop. 31.3 for Holdsworth versus a 32.5 for our leader. So that delta between the two obviously is reducing as this happens as well. So Jason's not pulling quite as much. I mean, it's still over a second a lap. So it's now been, what's that, going on around about 16 laps since Jason came in the pits. Those other guys came and got their fresh tyres. So they could. I mean, he's unlapped himself now. Holdsworth in the 8 truck. He's completely on the same lap, 29 seconds back. He's going to have a 1 lap lead, I think, when these other guys come into pit. But how quickly can Davo and co reel that back in, and how's that going to shake? As number 7 truck Bradley Cairns calls out, "I am coming in. I've had enough." He waves the white flag.
That I suspect the 311 will be in the next 2 laps, I reckon, because they're going to be getting tight in fuel now. So you can see him just getting down that speed. He's done a good job there. Hopefully he's got it down in time, not to ruin his race there, because it will ruin your race if you get done speeding. As we can see what's happening with Riley, but I think the 311's probably not too far away here, and those guys behind him as well.
So your math was
71.
I think we said 45 was the fuel window. They pit at around about 17, from what I recall. So yeah, with that they should be in the next 2 laps or so, like you said. So that's not going to be enough to make it, like you were alluding to. So there is going to be one more stop at least.
Exactly. That's my thought process. As channeling my inner Larry Mack from real life stuff.
Love it. Oh, I thought Dave was...
They will come down about 10 laps before the fuel window, and they will try to get back out there and try to run them laps.
Yeah, I reckon we might need to put that accent in the garage and never bring that out again. But that's okay. We give it a try, but some things are better left. Yeah.
We've got to try, mate. We got to try. But this is a good race. This is hotting up. I like that it stays green. I hope we stay green, because it's going to be a mixed bag here. So we're going to see who's going to hold the cards at the end. But at the moment, we can't work out who's going to win. Like it's going to be an interesting race to the flag here.
Yeah, I don't have any. I certainly don't have my crystal ball out. Cutting lap 72. So this is sort of my.
Stretching
based on your math, this was my sort of money lap for when I thought the 311 might come in, but it does not look like that's going to be the case. No, not this time by. So yeah, well, you can see that on the graphic. In fact, 50 laps on the current tyres, current run. So they've stretched it. They obviously few of the yellow laps would have helped.
That's right. So throwing in that big pile up, that helps. So that may stretch them out to lap 76 maybe. I just think they're still going to be short to make it on that one stop. That they'll be doing everything. Like if it's close, these guys will be fuel saving. You can fuel save in these cars. It's difficult to stay at the same pace, but you can do it.
More takers onto pit road. The 05 Ryan Barber, he's coming down, but our lead group still trucking on, as they say. But everyone up to P11 is on the lead lap. P12, our first car or truck, I should say, a lap down. The last of those, in fact, is Stephen Williams. We saw him really firing up earlier. But Holdsworth, he's the first one that has that sort of alternate strategy. And yeah, Phelps is in, as you said. So he peels off, gets it down to that pit speed. But Holdsworth in the 8. Last time by was 24.5 seconds off the lead. So he's just been carving out time. This lead is going to be massive after the stops, but these guys are going to come out and be in the order of 2.5, 3 seconds faster. So
see the hand out the window on the 311 and Zachary Sear, so they're coming this time by. So like I said, it's tight 76, 75 laps. They're not going to make it. They're going to have to stop again here.
Yeah, this is the whole field now.
Got to get it pulled up. Oh, geez, that's going to be close.
Just about got that, I think. He's done a good job. So this is this is where we're going to see it all shake out.
Race ending for the 42 back there. See him in the pit lane still. called that earlier. So it's going to be interesting to see. So here's Jason now to take over the lead of this race. Crosses the stripe, and he will be the new leader. And he's got, I believe it's Matt Payton in behind him as well. Actually, it's the 51 truck and Stevie Williams have made ground here. So doing a good job with those guys. Stevie was up there earlier. Faded a little bit with those tyres, but probably learnt a little bit as well while he's doing that. And the 31 is back on track, I can see, as you can see on your screen, in the foreground. Oh, there comes Stevie hitting sideways. That's what we like to see.
Very nice, yeah. Just trying to do my math. Dave, I've fallen all over myself trying to work it out.
Not the first time, mate.
No, I know. Tell me about it. It's I feel like these guys are gonna be closer to the end than I suspect. But I could be wrong. I could be very wrong.
I'm going to say they're not going to make it. I'm going to say they all have to stop one more time before the end of this race. As we see the 51 take service down pit lane there, as we got Zachary right on board with Zachary Sears here. Who's that in front of him? That'd be Ruben up there in the 06. That's correct. Looking at the timing board.
Yeah, so it looks like
Matt's propeller head just goes wild in the background. I don't know if you can hear that, but he's trying to work it out. He's trying to prove me wrong somehow.
I'm doing my absolute best. I've got the abacus out, trying to. So there's someone on the front stretch really struggling to keep it under wraps there, but that was the Noddy Tompkins. But Holdsworth, from what we can see, we touched on how big that gap's going to be. Well, it shook out 15 seconds, but it is coming down at a rate of knots.
Yep, the ebbs and flows of pit strategy.
Exactly. So Holdsworth is doing 32 ones now. Dave O, after everything is shaken out with the pit stops, doing low 31s. So he's taking big bites out. But I think we saw with Jason, he did a 30.7, a 30.7. He was doing those mid to high 37s right off the bat. Dave has not taken that strategy. He's happy still just to run in the 31s, which you mentioned, Dave. I'll give you the shout out there. You said, look, you got to be a bit patient. You can't just get everything you can from them, because you're gonna need them later as well. So he's thinking long term, but I wonder as well, can we ride on board perhaps with the 311 for a lap? Just get a bit of the sights and sounds of his truck. I wonder what he's doing in there.
Oh, he's fuel saving. He's clutching it. You see that tacho go down? So watch him into the entry to 3 here, into 3. You'll see that tacho, he'll drop down about 2,000 RPMs. He's fuel saving. Ready? There it goes. He's fuel saving through the mid turn, and he's going to drop it back in, and now he's going to circle. So he's trying to stretch it. So he's on a fuel save mission here. That's why he's running those lap times. That's great onboard shots there.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
There it goes again. So definitely on the fuel save. So clutching it's going to save your fuel. Run that mid turn, wait for it to turn, get back onto it. It's going to save bit by bit, but he had to have started. That's a lot of laps to save, I believe, but he's going for it.
So we got 54 is what it's telling us on that set of tyres. That obviously had a few yellow laps within it, right? Because they came out of the pits, they rolled around for 1 or 2, then we had an instant yellow. They did, another 3 or so laps under yellow. So he's bought himself a few laps with that.
I can hear your brain ticking, mate.
It really is. I think they're right borderline.
Well, he's going to be getting numbers. He'll have a dash of some sort. He's going to be seeing the number that he needs to try and hit. That's the reason he's fuel saving. So if he's in that phase right now, he's got to be somewhat confident that he can make it. Otherwise, there's no point doing that. Because that time that you're going to fuel save, you're going to bleed time as well, and that's going to bring the likes of the 8 and the 58 back into it. Because at time that the guys took their stop, the 8 and the 58, and the guys on that second strategy, they had a disadvantage, so they were further behind the lead when they took the fresh tyres, whereas it turns around the other way. So if you keep up with what I'm saying there, at the moment, those guys who stopped in the lap 75, the leaders, they've got the advantage at the moment, but they're fuel saving. So the advantage swings back towards the 8 if they can't make it or they spend too much time fuel saving.
I feel like this is the part of the race, Dave, where if I'm watching, I'm screaming at the TV, saying, you're missing something. You're missing the clear situation with the numbers here. But I think it's the yellows just giving us not a fully. It's an opaque picture because you don't know exactly that number that they can stretch it to. Right. But also, if I'm thinking here, Dave, if I'm the 8 or any of these other boys that have gone they didn't pit on that first yellows, they've saved a set of tyres for themselves. Obviously, I know that I can't make it from where I pit. They pit around about lap 50, thereabouts, whatever. I don't know that you want to run this as long as you could. Like, don't let fuel be the limiter.
You got to give yourself a chance with those new tyres.
Exactly.
If you can't run it to the death. If you're back in the pack, for sure, you run it to the death and hope for the caution. But if you're in that top 10, you've got to give yourself some time to try and make that time back up with those fresh tyres. You don't want to come in and take them tyres with 10 laps on the board. You're not going to make any time up.
No, you're not going to do it. And the thing is, even if a yellow comes out after you've pit and got those tyres, these other guys have no tyres in the pits. Absolutely. So you're not going to be disadvantaged. If anything, that's going to bring you right back into it anyway. So, I'd be really. What's the right amount of laps? Lap 100, 26 to go, or even earlier. What are you thinking?
That would be the easiest one. To just round out the 100, just pump out for 26 laps and see where you end up. But
I suppose they're probably going to have to come in anyway at that point, wouldn't they? If they've pit on lap 55 or whatever, it's probably around about the end of the fuel range.
About 102, yeah. So I think they're going to be up that point anyway. So
okay, yeah. Wow, and I guess because of this fuel save, Dave the 311, he's not making as much inroads as you would have imagined. His last lap time was a 32.0. As Holdsworth, he's got the stream open. I reckon he's listening in, getting the intel. Because he's already just put his hand out the window. He said, "You know what? I'm coming in now." Lap 89.
So he knows those guys are tight on fuel, and they're teammates as well. So he knows. So here comes the 8, and the 36 follows him. Is that the 36 behind him? Shouldn't be. Surely not the 36 there. That'll be.
I think that's Lawler, isn't it?
Yeah, up there. Either way, that's definitely the right call. So he may be able to see those times as well. So he can see that he's making almost as much time as them on their mold tyres. So he's going to go for it now, knowing that they can't go hard. They have to just stick to what they've got now.
So they'll come around this time. This will put the 8 1 lap down. Interesting to see. He's just peeling out of his box now, I believe. Just getting onto through the 1 and 2.
And the number of the day, 36, is what Jason's going to have to pump out 36 laps on these new tyres.
You're going to see him flash on the bottom of the screen, right? No, you're not. There he is. There he is. So that's exactly 1 lap down. So he can see in front of him exactly what he's got to do. He's like, okay, what's this? How many laps to go? We're looking at now 36. There we go. Thank you. So, second lap, and he has a 5-second win. So
that's true. So it's going to be interesting. And remembering that he can go as hard as he wants.
Yeah,
you still don't want to go too hard. You still got to keep it underneath you. Whereas the 311's locked into that fuel save right now, so he can't really go any faster. If anything, he may have to go slower. And that's the same with Sears, Phelps, Cairns. Whether those guys start a fuel saving at the same time will show, I suppose, when we get to that point. But it's going to be a very interesting finish to this race here. So stick around if you've hung with us for this long. Stick around because it's going to get interesting towards the end of the year.
I think it's going to be it's going to be very juicy. It's more than just interesting if he can. Again, you don't want to use everything you got. I think his last time by was a 31.0. I think that's a good sort of. He was obviously making an overtake at the time, but that's where I'd be if I was in the driver's seat there. I wouldn't be wanting to use absolutely everything, because having a quick look at his times, lap 20 on his last run, it basically leveled out. He was doing low 32s at that time and sort of around about the same after 30. So that's the proposition in front of him here. I don't know if I want to be doing, well, probably wouldn't be too bad if you can get enough in it now. But if he gets to 20 laps in and he's still 10 seconds back, he's not going to catch him. So he needs to be calm, save these tyres, but also fast. This is
work that out.
Exactly. Yeah, you need to be slow but fast and patient, but not patient.
That's talk about a balance setup in a car. Well, that's the balance setup you need in a driver.
Exactly. So that's Jason definitely has it right in front of him.
We've got one sideways in the background of the screen there. It was the 136 of Lawler. Now that makes you nervous if you're the likes of Jason and those guys, because that will ruin your day.
Well, let me counter that. Let me counter that thought. I think if they have no other tyres in the in the pits, he's got a 20 lap tyre advantage on those other boys, and they've all got the exact same amount in the pits now. So
sure,
it wouldn't be ideal for us. I think it's that's the last thing we want to see. I want to see this go down to the last dying laps, see if the 8 can catch them. But if you are the 8,
right there, we got another one.
Yeah, it's a bit dicey, that's for sure. So that's the 58. Is one of those trucks that is pit.
So he's got the tyres up his sleeve. So if the yellow comes, he's in the box seat. I think he's the first one too that has the fresh tyres. That's highest in the pack. Still in the box,
yeah,
so he won't be far from stopping day. He'll have to stop in the next 5 laps. I'm going to say. So he wants the caution
he's
to
on
come
the opposite side.
5 or so laps.
Yeah, that's right. He's on the opposite side of that spectrum. So Holdsworth has dipped early.
Oh,
Holdsworth came and got his tyres.
Sideways Laval it was. I just saw in the background of my own shot, Laval was sideways coming in the pit there. No caution though, he saves it, and there he is. He was all crossed up and sideways.
Yeah, you're right on it, Dave. Love that. But this is it's all to play for here. This is exciting. It's getting juicy. It's all building for a nice crescendo at the end. The last thing we need though is the yellow. They've run it very nicely. I put the commentator's curse on it for sure. But I'll offset that by saying I'm confident we're going to have so many yellows, and that should offset, and then we don't get any.
25, and to be honest, if I'm out there, if I'm in the box seat and we don't need a yellow, that's when they come. So we may not get it, because usually that's when I'm out there. I get a yellow when I don't want it.
That is true.
That's how things work.
It's we're in that kind of that lull phase of a race where it's everyone's operating their own particular strategies, doing their own things. Some are just hanging on from what I'm seeing out of my window here, but they're we don't really have your sort of side by side battles per se, but there's a lot to play for and a lot happening. So, but it's more of a strategy game at the moment.
Where's Ellsworth? He's 22 seconds off the lead right now. So 22 seconds. What do you make? What do you say? 31. So he's made 10 seconds in 10 laps by the looks of that.
Yeah, exactly. Last time by was 31.1 versus the leader's 32.4. So, 1.3 seconds in that lap alone. He's definitely getting after. If we're thinking, 26 laps to go at this point, 22 seconds is the margin. He's definitely still looking good.
Bit of a
but the problem,
10.
Yeah, diminishing returns is the thing though. We touched on it earlier.
Yep.
The guys that are at the front, that's about as slow as they're gonna get. I'd say their tyres are at that sort of level. They're pretty comfortable with their fuel saving strategy, I would imagine, by this stage, this far into the run. So Jason's times, although they're impressive now, 31.1 last time again, that's only going to get worse and worse. And I mentioned previous run, by lap 20 he was already in the very low 32s, 32.0. So
yeah, that's right. It does plateau out to an extent. So even though he's got those fresher tyres and less laps on top, at some points it will plateau out and meet in the middle with those guys, really.
Yep. Exactly, as we see Carl making a big move on Micklemore there. Carl, I think, is the
Big
tyres,
Carlos.
if I'm not mistaken. Yep, exactly. He's on that sort of same strategy as Holdsworth and co. I think, yeah. So Matt Patton, I believe, was the other one, 58. He's pit from what I can see. So all those guys who did stay out on the first yellow, kept that set of tyres in the bank. They pretty much all come in at this point. So now they're on the flip side of things. But I just wonder, lap 103 is probably not too bad. They probably haven't left it too late.
You can see Zappa riding on board with there. He's getting right up behind Davo, the leader. It makes you wonder. He's probably not going to save too much in that draft, but he'll be saving somewhat in that draft. There'll be a little bit of an advantage to be behind the car in front of you. So Davo's breaking the air, pushing the wind at the moment, and Zach's just stayed with him that whole run, just trying to stay on, keep the nose in there, stay as much as you can. So you can see right up there behind him now.
Right up there, yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see when they come, see if they're going to try and make a race of it. I know these boys, they will race for the win here.
Yeah, I said that I thought that everyone had come in at this point in time. There was one more still going. The 7, yeah, there you go. He's in. Hopefully that
looked like it was too fast though.
Hopefully that was not too fast because he's right in it too. He's got a shot still, but I think Holdsworth in the 8 sort of came in at just the right time because he still had a lead at the time. So that's why for him this is still looking really good. 16 seconds back from the leader. In fact, he's taken some big chunks out the last few laps.
Cairns did not get a penalty, so he did get it down in time. So he's in the clear there. So he's going to be back on the track here in a minute. He'll be on his way out now.
That's great. So we'll see how he goes, getting himself back up there. I think he's going to be about half a lap behind the 8 from the looks of things. But again, he's going to have fresher tyres. So this is where it gets extra juicy. And I've almost forgotten about this battle for the lead here. Like you said, Sears right up behind Oleg. Help me out here, Dave. Olenczak.
That's it.
Yeah.
Ollie. I asked him the other night.
Ollie.
That's what I said, Ollie. But I'm sure it's Olenczak.
We'll have to come up with something for him, because that's just I won't be able to do that. But it's going to be. They are going for it, and I wonder. The other side of the coin is Sears here in P2, biding his time, saving what he needs to try and save using the draft, but also trying to keep some tyres under him, because at some point in time you're going to need to make that pass if you want to win. So that's going to be a good watch. Holdsworth still powering his way through. He's up into P6. 15 seconds off the lead with what do we got? 18 laps to go.
He is on board.
Yeah, he's in a hornet's nest at the moment.
Oh, he's got teammates all around him. We've got one on fresh tyres, one on old tyres. So Matt's going to be looking to try and get past here and make short work of the 8. But the other guy, that's Ruben Phelps. He's not too far off those lead packs. So he's only 2.7 seconds off the lead, and you can see on your timing tower. The other guy who's hanging tough is Griffiths as well from the garage. Project 36, sorry. Another 10 seconds back.
Yeah, good call. So Patton is on those fresher tyres now, but he's a full lap off Holdsworth. So I have to say he just wants to try and get on the lead lap in case there is a yellow, because again he's going to have some of the freshest tyres of all if that yellow does come.
On the timing board up there, so you got Holdsworth. You can see 14.21 seconds. It's a live update, so 14.9. He's got 17 laps to do it, so you can see what he needs to do there quite clearly. He's got time in his hand if he's going at a second lap, but it's whether he can hold on, whether it's going to puddle out before then. So he's going to be coming up these leaders with a rate of knots.
Yeah, I think I talked up Bradley Cairns' prospects earlier, but I might have been a little bit too excited there because he's behind Patton, in fact, as well. So he's fallen way back with all that. So I think
both guys, like you were saying, yeah,
a little bit too long. So I'd say a lot of those boys are probably out of the picture, but the key watch. I'd say the key watch here is, I don't think there's anyone coming from behind to challenge Holdsworth. I don't think anyone's going to appear out of nowhere there with fresh tyres, cans or otherwise. But can Holdsworth close this remaining 13 odd seconds What are we down to now on our live timing? We're down to 13.6 there. So, can Holdsworth close that gap? And also, what does Zach Sears have up his sleeve? And can those boys at the front make it all the way? You'd have to imagine that, given the where they're at, that they must. Otherwise, they'd consider, you'd think, a short bit. But if there's no tyres, then you probably don't, do you? I guess you just roll the dice and just keep rolling around in the clutch. So, I cannot call it at all at this stage, Dave. I've got no idea.
Okay, Holdsworth, so he's still in that 13-second bracket, and the laps are getting less. So he's going to be square on laps in a minute to his time to the leader. So his charge has just come ever so slightly to a halt. He's not making as much time as he was now, and that's where it putters out. So
last time by was 32-1. Oh, has we got one parked on the back? You can't park there, Steve.
Gerber has just pulled out of it, I think. Yeah.
Nice.
Garno.
Mechanical gremlin, unknown. But no, great call as well on the plateau there, Dave. Last time by 32.3 versus our leader with a 32.4.
Yeah, so that's where we say. So it's going to level out here now. So Jace did what he could, I suppose. Holdsworth's done what he could with what he had. Now the race really is these two guys at the front here. It's gonna get juicy, as you said, Danson. 12 to go. What does Zach do? When does he make the move? Does he go early? Does he wait till later in the race? It's all about to play out.
It's pretty much bang on for Holdsworth's lap times. Previous run, I said once he got around that 20 lap mark, he was doing low 32s. This time, lap 17. It looks like in that run. Crept into the 32 zeros again, so pretty much tit for tat as far as his runs. I'm not sure if he's really eked as much out as he could have there, but last time by, just to add another layer once again, last time by, your leaders crept back up into 32.6 territory. So
very interesting.
Yeah, they could be getting into that dire straight kind of fuel save scenario where it's not looking as good as they thought, and then that brings the 8 right back into it, because he is still gaining, of course, but it's just very minimally now. You said before 13 seconds, 13.6 I think it was, with however many it was to go, but a couple laps later went out just over 12 seconds with 10 to go. So I think that you spoke about that threshold, Dave, where it's going to be more than a second a lap, and we've definitely passed that time for Holdsworth. So Sears and Ollie battling it out front. Barely anything between them.
Now we'll cast your mind back to earlier in the race. It was hard to make that pass on the inside. It took a few laps. It wasn't just a drive up, pass them. So Zach, if he wants to try and make a move here, I think he's got to probably do it. Not leave it to the last lap. It's hard to tell because of the fuel saving as well. They're clutching still, obviously. So at that point, he can just literally drive around him if he wants to. Whether Zach lets that happen, it's I'll tell you in 8 laps. We're about to find out. You can see the speed there early on board. Was Zach? Was he fuel saving there? So we're going into 3 here. So he's not saving at all now.
No, so it doesn't look it.
So he feels that he's good. So let's see if he tries to make a move here soon. But it's all to play out. 8 to go. 7 to go as they cross the stripe.
Yeah, either he understands that he's got no hope, or he is happy with where he's at with the fuel situation. So, who's your pick? Who's your pick for the win?
I'm gonna stick with my man in the 3-1-1. Olin Zach, he helped me to victory at the Daytona 500. So my money's on Davo. He's gonna hang on here.
Yeah, it's he's sitting pretty. I'd love to. I'm gonna have to go the opposite of you, obviously, just for funsies' sake. But I think Zach surely has had multiple opportunities to make a pass and has decided not to. I have to hope that that's because he's got something up his sleeve. So as I say that, the 3-1-1 just pulls a little bit of a gap on him. He's kind of checked out. So see you later. You just seen him, like you can visually see him pulling away. As I say that, you see Sears make a bit of inroads on the front stretch. So
yeah, we got lap traffic to deal with as well, so they'll make short work of these guys up here. But yeah, you can just see Dave may have just pushed a little bit more. He maybe got to his number where he was satisfied. But yeah, you can see that gap. That's the biggest gap we've had for the last probably 30, 35 laps or so.
Great call. And further up front, further behind, I should say, not up front. Further behind, I'd say Holdsworth's charge has been completely extinguished. His last time by, he actually lost time to our leaders. So he's done. Top 5 is as good as he's going to do by the looks of things. It's now just a matter of what the lead battle is our 2 at the front. So it's what can Sears pull out, or is it just going to be a bit of a nitro circus to the finish?
It's going to be a circus for sure, mate. But I'm just trying to look at lap times here. So 32.2 for Davo last time by, 32.3 for Sears. So I think Davo's just turned the wick up ever so slightly just to try and just to break the spirits of the 3.42 Sears.
He's definitely going considerably faster. That's it's one of the fastest laps in the field as far as I can tell, other than the only trucks faster than that is Bradley Cairns, 31.9. He obviously pit. Your other boys that got fresh tyres considerably sooner than, or later I should say, than Dave. Matt Pat 32.4, Jason Holdsworth 32.4 as well. So he's putting time on people that have theoretically better rubber, and he's put a bit more, another 10th on Sears.
I'll come around to grab the white dance and I'll let you call this one home here. Out of 4, we're going to take the white here and it'll be a race to the flag.
Yeah, thank you. As they come out there, Barney is going absolutely mental with the white flag. Dave is super happy because obviously from here, doesn't matter what happens as far as accidents on the track, you are gunning it all the way. So lovely run through 1 and 2. Bit of lap traffic. I think that's Stephen Williams just in front of him. Oh, right. It's always
put on the show, the boys.
Jumping to the wall, I think there. In fact, as Sears will be, his eyes will have lit up. Thinking, here we go. Got a shot, but not close enough. Dave, nice sideways. This comes out of turn 4, sees the checkered flag and crosses the line to win round 2 of the Truck Series. Attaboy.
Yeah, so Nitro 1-2 there with Ruben Phelps for SRM bringing home a 3rd position there. So he's had a good fortnight or good couple of days, Ruben Phelps there, and yeah, that was a good race. Kept us on our toes. Strategy came into it. There was fuel saving. We got it all in that one, Danson.
Yeah, that was sick. Not much more you can ask for there. A couple of different,
Is he out of fuel? I think he's out of fuel now. He might be getting pushed back to the line here. I don't know. He might be just saving so he can do a burnout, and then that'll be probably about all she wrote.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
We got too much fuel now.
We're going to do one more. Yep. It's giving me flashbacks. I've been watching lots of Cars, the movie with little Ollie, so that's giving me a bit of flashbacks to giving the push at the finish. Bit of we got Mado Lightning, the fabulous Hudson Hornet. We got the whole gang there, but that's enough of that nonsense. Here we go. We got he's still cruising around. He's loving life. He said, you know what, I'll do another 10 laps. Let's bring up the leaderboard, have a bit of run through. So we got, and then we can have a bit of a chat to some of these boys. So Dave, sensational win. Saw off all sort of challenges there. He was the class of the field all day, let's be honest. Zachary Sears in P2 did a fabulous job sticking with his teammate there. Ruben was a really good run from him. We saw him lead for a period of time, hanging tough on the top. Had a big surge as well through the race, up 9 spots for that P3. P4 was Brandon Griffiths. Really good result from him as well. I'm impressed with that performance. Holdsworth, a bit stiff to only make it to P5. A bit more tyre management probably required there. Micklemore in P6, Williams 7th, Henderson P8, Steve Williams P9, and Bradley Cairns makes a good comeback from his strategy following the 8 car to get P10.
Carrying off from P10, we got Matt Payton, who was in a fight for a little bit there. He was on a split strategy to the guys, and his teammate rounds out in the 10th position. 11th position, Carl Wilkinson with him having another good run up there. P12, nice and consistent, stayed safe. Ryan Barber, the junior, he's in 13th there. 14th is Dull, Aaron Major 15th, Ronnie Curtis 16th, Brian Blundell 17th, and Aaron Dorman 18th there, 2 laps down.
And pretty much everyone from this point had a bit of a tough night. The Andy Barber was P19, showing up a bit from his son there. You gave me the intel that was his son up in P13.
Boy, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a bit of bragging rights there in the family. Gary Wellman, we saw him. He was very unwell for a period there with Nigel getting into him. Marty Mitchell, he again had some troubles there getting a pit road. Trent Lavelle got stuck in that wreck early on. Noddy, Jamie Nankervis, Luke Patton, Brad Wright 26th, Lawler 27th, and obviously these trucks are the ones that finished early. So 13 laps down for Blundell. Lawford in 29th. Powell, he powered the wall a few times. 30th, Williams 31st, Gerber, Lockie, and Nigel rounds out the field there. Well, it was an interesting balance of strategies. It was, you had side by side. We had 3 rows deep, I think, at different times for the front few. Dave, it was an intense race, probably more than I anticipated. But let's get stuck into a couple of conversations with our top 3. We'll start with P3, which was Ruben. If you want to grab that one, Dave.
Yeah, too easy. We've got Ruben join us in the booth here. Ruben, talk us through your race there. As you a bit of side-by-side action, tyre saving, fuel saving. Talk us through it, mate.
It was quite fun at the start, but decided to take a set obviously in the first stop with that first yellow, and decided to because I was really good up the top, decided to race it a wee bit, but it was sort of touch and go about where the fuel was going to go, so I decided to race it anyway, and but yeah, it was sort of a lap short when it came to having to pit, but yeah, after that I just basically had to clutch it on the entries, and both 1 and 3 for majority of that run to make it, so it sort of took the race away a little bit, but all in all, 3rd place is not too bad.
Yeah, no, definitely. And how was the truck handling tonight? How did you find it? Loose, tight? What was your balance like?
Very, very bouncy. Just all over the show. Yeah, it was all over the show. It was 1 minute tight, 1 minute loose, and just how old Atlanta usually runs. It's it's a tire grader and all that, and of course all the track surface is just. But yeah, no, it was a handful either way.
Yeah, definitely looked like it. What was the fuel save like? Obviously, at what point did you realise you were going to be short, and how much did you have to save in the end there?
I came in literally on the fluke, and it said 52 laps with 52 to go. Well, actually, I think it said 51 laps of fuel left with 52 to go. So I just had no choice but to clutch it, and the other boys ended up pitting 1 lap later, so that made the difference. And of course, you couldn't really naturally run the line you would have preferred, so sort of burnt the tyres off the end as well. But luckily, I had a good buffer to sort of micromanage it a wee bit. So, but all in all, it was a good race.
Well, that's it. You mentioned manage it, and that's what you had to do this race, and you did just that. So, all about race management, and that earns you a P3 tonight, mate. Got any sponsors shout-outs you want to shout out, mate?
Of course, SRM Australia, of course, Matty Ray can't make it this week, but of course, Lockie and Brendan, unfortunately, they got involved in the wheel spin carnage and the restart. But other than that, of course, our sponsors, Scotch's Race Fuels, Cut Sticker Co., Moondog, and our 2 charities of TS2 Australia and Australia Alopecia.
Very good, mate. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Your 3rd place tonight, Ruben Phelps in the 06.
Very,
mate.
very good run from Ruben. I am fortunate to be blessed with the presence of a Mr. Zachary, who was our P2 finisher tonight. He started P2, he finished P2. He got very familiar with the back of Dave's truck. Zach, are you? How do you feel about that result?
It wasn't bad. I am really bad at fuel saving. At mile and a half. I don't know what it is. It's something that I need to work on. I always roast the right rear off the car. It seems when I need to fuel save. That's why I kind of just took behind Dave and just hope that I saved enough. Earlier in the run, I asked Dave. I was like, how much fuel do you have? And he told me, and I was like, the tank's only 18.7, and the realization kicked in for both of us that we needed to save enough to make it to the end.
Yes. Okay. So as soon as you came out of pit road, you knew where you're at with that. Did you even before, like, as obviously the laps were counting down in that run after you'd taken the pits on the yellow? Did you know at that point, or like when did you know it was going to become a fuel mileage race? I guess were you trying to stretch that initial run as well?
We tried. Dave definitely stretched it a lot longer than I did. He started clutching, and I was kind of back in the pack to where I could save in the draft a little bit more than he could. So it was easier for me to make that number. But then he started slowing down his pace and clutching and just kind of doing what he does best. And like I said, I struggle, so the draft definitely saved me here. It was probably about maybe five laps to go into the pit stop.
Okay. Yeah, nice. Well, I mean, you've got to be happy, obviously, with that. You performed well. Looked like some good battles. Initially there in the lead pack. Couple of hairy moments. How did it feel driving? The older Atlanta, getting back to probably a bit more off throttle time, a bit more tire management. What was the keys, I guess, to other than the fuel save to getting around here fast, but not tearing up your stuff?
Definitely throttle control. You can't mat the throttle off the corner like you can at some of the mile and a halfs on iRacing. So just being able to roll into the throttle smooth or know when to get off the throttle, it's a little easier. The experience definitely paid off in this race with fuel saving and definitely throttle control and anything racecraft wise. I know it got a little hairy with Ruben, I think it was. I saw Riley coming out of the pits, and I just tried to slide him, and it was either wreckers or checkers with, half of the race left to go. So, hopefully, I didn't scare him too bad, but I had to make the move when I could.
You gotta go for it if it's there. It was a good show for us. Kept us guessing the whole time. So thank you for that. But obviously, sponsors and the like. This is your moment to shout out those, get those call outs in.
Yeah, definitely Nitro Racing, BMK Logistics, Heat Finder, the Mod Squad, Gray Bear Racing Components. Nitro definitely put on a good setup in the car. Luckily we were able to capitalize.
Awesome work. Thank you for that, Zach. That's your P2 finisher. Dave now has his namesake. Our race winner, Davo, who put on a bit of a clinic, started P1, finished P1. Dave Douglas, you have the race winner with you.
Yeah, certainly do. Is that Davo, the Australian NASCAR Truck Series at Atlanta winner? Talk us through that one, mate. Fuel saving, tyre saving, had to do it all there, mate. Well managed.
Yeah, definitely. It worked out well just from the start with qualifying up front. Was able to just start the race right away, not really pushing the tires, trying to keep them on for the long run. We got that caution about halfway through, and at that point, I still wasn't thinking about fuel saving. But that second run we had, Ruben and I were side by side for quite some time, so awesome racing with him. Eventually, was able to get around him, and then with about 10 laps or so left in that run, I realized that I'm gonna have to pit twice. That's not gonna work. So at that point, I had to start backing it up, clutching, shutting the car off on corner entry, and really rolling, trying to stretch it just as long as I could, and was able to get one more lap than Ruben. I know Zach saved enough as well behind me, so from that point on, I guess that'd be around lap 60 or so. It was fuel saving from there on until lap 120 for me.
Yeah, definitely. It looked like it. Early on, though, as you said, it was good racing. Not when you sort of really think about fuel saving, but obviously tyre management, a big thing here. It looked like you were just letting the guys go early there and looking after your stuff and then fighting every way back through the field, I suppose. Talk us through that, I guess.
Yeah, it's just kind of the name of the game here at Old Atlanta. It can really burn up your tires if you abuse them and use them up too much early. So just trying to keep them on the car, keep them cool, and save them for that long run that we did end up getting. So pretty surprisingly, 2 full green flag runs near enough.
Yeah, it's always great to have those green flag runs, and it actually was good racing because there's a lot of split strategies through the field. So even your teammate Holdsworth, I don't know if you saw him coming in the mirror at all or keeping on his tyres, but he was coming for a period, but obviously just ran out of steam in the end. But there was a big incident though, big crash from a bit of wheel spin from those boys up front. How did you get through that? I didn't actually see you, but obviously you survived that.
Yeah, there was a restart at 6th and kind of accelerated. I think it was Matt Pat, outside front row get a little loose, and then I forget who was 4th, but they spun the tires a little bit, got loose, and just enough of a gap opened up after he crossed that start finish line for me to dive down to the left and kind of cut my way towards the grass and snuck by both of those guys before the melee kind of ensued behind.
Oh, that's you gotta. Sometimes it's lucky, but well managed today. And as Danton said, class of the field, and yeah, pole to the win as well. So obviously, you've got some shout outs and sponsors and teammates or whatever. The floor is yours, and yeah, shout out, mate.
Yeah, first off, Nitro Racing, prepared a good truck. So big props to everyone there. And then I got hefinder.net and the modsquad.info. But yeah, that's it.
Oh, appreciate you coming out and running with these guys. It's nice and early over there, and hopefully we'll see you in a few more truck races.
Yeah, love to do it. Awesome racing.
Yeah, I saw that early on too. So I had you picked as well, Dave. Just so you know, we were deciding who we're going to pick for the win here, whether it be Zach or you, and I stuck with my man Davo.
Well, us Dave's got to stick together.
That's it, brother. Appreciate it, mate. We'll talk next week, I hope.
There we go. So beautifully conducted interview there, Dave.
Yeah, somewhat, mate. Somewhat. Easy.
That's obviously, yeah, great run from all the boys out there. As Davo touched on, a couple of green flag runs, big incident which we love to get shouting out about. But good result, new winner, American. We've got to sort that out next week. Hopefully the Aussies can get themselves sorted. But brilliant stuff, Dean, on the cams and the broadcast production. Brilliant stuff from you as well, Dave. Sensational. Me, mediocre, but it's been a pleasure. We'll see everyone again for race 3 and potentially a new winner.